We are live. We are Father Son Galaxy. I am Kerwin. This is Keith. This is the last day of 2023.
And
it
our
is New
last
Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve, everyone.
It's our last episode ever this year.
Yeah, you say that joke every year end. All right. So thank you for being with us, having, spending a part of your New Year's Eve with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We are continuing talking about what if. The season wrapped up this past Saturday. All right. So we already went through the first 5 episodes. We're going to go through now 6 through 9. So welcome once again to those of you who are joining us on YouTube or on Instagram. Wonderful. All right, let's get into it. So we're going to talk about episode 6. Episode 6, I'm going to start off by giving you the title is What If Kahhori Reshaped the World, written by Ryan Little, directed by Brian Andrews. Let me just start off by saying this was my favorite episode of What If this season. All right. Well, any season, the first 2 seasons.
I think my favorite was episode 4. But
okay. Well,
I think this one's definitely top 3.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. I really, really enjoy this episode. And it's we meet a new character, new superhero.
Completely
never
new.
Been seen
not
before.
Not even for the comics. Never seen before. That's the beauty of What If, telling stories not just with the same characters in different roles, but new characters entirely.
Yeah. And Marvel, congratulations to Marvel taking a risk, to create a brand new character. And we're not going to, they're not knowing how the fans are going to receive this character. But I can only speak for myself. She is wonderful. She is a Native American. What is nice about this episode as well is that it was in a Native American language.
Yeah, she's also trilingual. Yeah. She spoke Mohawk, Spanish, and English across episode 9 and 6.
Yeah, exactly. So
6 and 9.
Sorry, yeah, I didn't mean to talk over you. Yeah,
no.
All right,
I was talking over you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so just give you a basic rundown what the story is about. So Asgard is destroyed. The Tesseract, all right, is actually blasted out of Asgard and it lands on Earth. And when it impacts and it hits the Earth, it shatters into pieces. And apparently it is falls into, it's everywhere. So anyone who is, seen it or a part of it or touched it, maybe perhaps
falls into a lake.
Right. It falls into a lake. This lake is go ahead. You want to say something?
It's just like the lake of life.
Right. There's a section of the village where it is cursed, right? And it's cursed because the village, this Native American village, apparently has been in many battles, right? And there were lives that were lost. The bloodshed is what they call them. Was happened in this lake, all right, where a lot of people were in the lake and they disappeared or they lost their lives. No one knows for certain. But Kahhori is the new character. She actually finds the lake. She goes past this area that's cursed and no one has ever been there and no one's supposed to go. But she went and found the lake and she jumps in and is apparently sucked into a portal right in the lake.
Yeah.
And the portal brings her to this paradise, this place, no one has ever been. Well, not no one has ever been. Only the people who have dropped into this lake knows about this paradise.
It actually kind of scary though, because she got hit in the shoulder with a bullet. She fell into the water.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And so she ends up, and she is this powerful human being. She is super. She's got super speed. She's got super strength. She is. When you saw her running,
teleport.
She reminds me of the Flash. She was running so fast. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So she has this gift, right, and she meets others who have the same gift. One in particular named Atarax, and he is, wanted to know, okay, wow, where'd you come from and what's going on?
By the way, having super speed and teleportation, why would you need both?
Super speed. Now, when you say she teleports, I don't recall.
she's able to teleport because of her portals.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Like, you know
That's
how
true.
in
Yeah.
episode 9 she made portals and sent everybody back to their home world?
That's a good point. Yeah, you're
So,
right.
yeah, she can teleport too. So, I don't really know why you need super speed if you could just get from place to place near instantly.
That's a very good point. I don't know. Never thought of that until
Well, then
now.
again, I guess portals would kind of give away the element of surprise, like when she was fighting Captain Carter.
Yeah.
Caught that shit like Bucky Barnes.
Well, this is the multiverse, right? So there's got to be a portal involved somewhere.
10 years later.
Right. So the story is that her people are being tortured by the Spaniards, right? The conquistadors. So this is something that took place many years ago.
Yeah, this is, dare I say, the 1600s?
About there, the 1600s.
Yeah, so the conquistadors are like taking over the land, trying to strip it of its resources, and they want to go to the Fountain of Youth that Kahhori got sucked into.
Right. And then the Fountain of Youth, you heard the myth about Ponce de Leon. He was a Spanish explorer. Apparently, he was the one that wanted to find the Fountain of Youth. And so it's loosely based on that type of story. So the Spaniards are trying to, first take the land from them. And then he finds the leader of the Spanish army, finds the lake, and he thinks that it is the Fountain of Youth. So he has some of his men go in and see, well, is anything going on? Like, do you feel young? And, they get sucked into the portal as well. Yeah, they get sucked into the portal.
Yeah, they got pulled in. So.
Yeah, they got pulled in.
And they were sent to the other side where all the good people are, the people who deserved to be there.
Right.
And let's just say it doesn't end so well for them.
No.
They don't die, but Kahhori just literally, like, Ebony Maw just literally late for a tea appointment, like, get out of my way.
And speaking of portals, remember the scene when she came through the portal? The portal was in the sky.
Yeah.
So she entered from the sky, landed on the ground. She was so powerful that she was actually able to pull the portal down. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did.
Pull it down so that she can walk right through the portal. And she left it open for all the other natives to come in and help her save her people.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to make a power index so I can measure how powerful Kahhori is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she is extremely powerful. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Maybe Scarlet Witch. Maybe as powerful as Doctor Strange. What do you think?
I'd say she's like Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange rolled into one.
Right.
Because of the portals and moving things with the magic.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, I love this episode. I love the music. The music was so touching.
And I'm glad we got some representation in one of.
Yes, exactly. It's wonderful. And it's the Native Americans, the first people of the New World. Why? Of course they would have superpowers.
Exactly.
Why not? Yeah, they were here first, right? It makes
Precisely.
sense to me. And I just want to finish up talking about this episode. My favorite part, of course, when she meets Queen Isabella of Spain, face to face. And some of the things that she said, I wrote it down, which was very, very powerful about working together. She says the world is rich. This is Kahhori talking to the Queen. The world is rich, but it's neither yours or mine to claim. We believe our health depends on your health. How about that? And the Queen, responds by, look, I'm the Queen. I have been destined to, to rule this throne. And that means I could rule over you. And then, Kahhori shut that down.
Yeah, Kahhori just said,
lift her up in the air and broke her throne in pieces, shattered
Kahhori
into pieces.
Language.
Right. And apparently they came together and, they worked together and there was peace. At least for a little while, and then Doctor Strange shows up and breaks the party.
Yes, Strange Supreme just says, I've been looking for you for a very long time.
All right, open-ended. All right, so that was episode 6. Let's go to Q&A. Let's see who's here. Thank you for here. Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. All right, who do we have? We have Eric. Go ahead.
I'm glad there's a spotlight on a native superhero and some native history. That's beautiful.
I agree.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. And Happy New Year's Eve to you.
All right, who do we have next?
Okay.
Alex, episode 6 is awesome. I think it's my favorite also.
Yeah, I agree with you, Alex. Thank you so much. All right, this is wonderful. Okay. All right. thanks again for being here. All right, let's move on to episode 7. Want to talk about that one?
Let's do it.
This was a good one too.
So, what if Hela found the 10 rings? So, in this story, Hela's still the firstborn daughter of Odin, and she's still his executioner and right-hand woman, but she is too power hungry, and he casts her out. But instead of putting her in that little mirror dimension or wherever that he trapped Hela before, she ends up being banished to the mortal world, just like Thor.
Midgard, right?
Yep. Yeah, Midgard. She's like, ugh, Midgard.
Yeah.
Ugh. So she ends up finding Wenwu and the 10 rings. He wants to form an alliance with Hela, and Hela's having none of it. So she runs off to Ta Lo and meets Jai, who teaches her all about prosperity and being one with yourself and not being so bloodthirsty. For goodness sake. So they work together and they train and train and train. And you can see Hela's she's still a little evil. She's like, I could go for some fire knives. Can I get fire knives, please? That'd be fun. Instead of flower petals.
Right.
But she's a better she's a gooder person. She's a gooder person.
A gooder person, right.
So
then she
decides to go back to Wenwu. But as she does so, Odin comes back to Earth. Real quick, I'd just like to thank our Twitch viewers. Hey, you're one of the first. Thanks.
All right, thank you. All right. Keep being great. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yes. All right. So Hela and Wenwu team up, and they defeat Odin. So Hela basically becomes goddess of life and light, and Hela and Wenwu continue to run across all the realms and liberate them from Odin's rule. Basically, her outfit went from black and green to white to symbolize light.
Very good. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Okay. Let's stop and talk about this episode. I was so glad to see. We were talking about how exciting it is when they do the opening titles or the pre-credit title, I think is what you call it. And they introduce you to what's going to happen in the story. And then the titles come on the screen and you're excited to see who are going to be voicing what characters. I was so glad that Cate Blanchett's name appeared on the screen.
Yeah, I would not have had a Hela episode without Cate Blanchett.
And I can understand why she wanted to do this. I think this was probably the best written episode of season 2.
Yeah, this is my second favorite.
Yeah, and this is my second favorite. It's the best written episode, and I think it was written well for Cate Blanchett, for an actor of her caliber.
And this is actually not the first time we see her. Well, it is the first time, but not the last.
Yeah, and we
see her 2 more times.
And her character Hela is a great character. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I enjoy Thor Ragnarok so much.
I think Thor Ragnarok is my second favorite Marvel movie. My third favorite is Shang-Chi, and my first favorite is Far From Home.
You sure it's not No Way Home? I'm not going to go there.
Don't make me.
I get confused.
Speaking of No Way Home, they made a complete mockery out of Doctor Strange. They made him a fairy godmother to go grant Peter Parker's wishes.
Get there. All right.
And then ridiculed his power level because Ned mastered portals in 2 seconds.
Okay, so getting back to Cate Blanchett.
And they made up some excuse about, I have magic in my family. And then not only successfully opened the portal, but located 2 Spider-Men just by asking.
Okay, can we talk about this later?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so that is one of the reasons why I loved Thor Ragnarok. She's a wonderful actress. She's one of the best actresses, of our time right now. They just wrote this for her, the sarcasm and the biting humor that she has.
Reminds me of me a bit.
Yeah, and she's evil, but she's sneaky, and you don't know if you want to trust her. Is she becoming good, or what is she doing? And
what is she doing?
Yeah, it was a wonderful episode to see her. Usually, well, in the film Ragnarok, she and her father were side by side. You know what I mean? Like she was the right hand person to Odin, right? And
up until Odin had enough of her,
right, but
banished
in
her.
What If, it's the opposite direction, the opposite side of the coin. He strips her of her powers, takes away her crown, and banishes her to Earth, right? And now she's trying to get payback. Maybe payback is not the word, but she realizes that her father is hungry for power, and that he needs to stop. And what he wants to do is to try to steal these 10 rings, all right, from these peons on Earth. They don't need to have these rings.
The 10 rings do not belong in mortal hands.
Right.
They belong to me.
Right. And she took it upon herself to make sure that her father did not get those rings. And it was a wonderful episode. One quote I just want to talk about. This is with Jaya. She is the one who, from China, who had this conversation with Hela to try to
Talo.
Right, to try to talk to Hela about what is your purpose, why are you here, who are you angry with, and one of the things that she said to Hela was that one cannot fend off darkness with more darkness, only light.
Reminds me of that. Two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the quote, hate and hate don't balance out.
Right,
love can do that.
Right, and Hela had to learn that, and she did at the end of the episode. You know what I mean? And that's why you said she wore the white, to represent light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very cool. Wonderful episode.
Now,
we have a Q&A, I believe. Yes.
Let us move on to What If the Avengers Assemble.
Okay, we have Q&A.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That.
Yeah. All
right.
Okay.
Alex.
Yeah.
Episode 7 is so cool. I liked seeing Hela's redemption arc, and the humor was on point. Plus, it was so cool seeing Hela train up and the team up of Hela and Wenwu. It was epic.
Yeah, I love it. I love that.
Cool.
Can you tell me again? I know you are a fan of Shang-Chi. I've only seen it once. You've seen it more than me. Can you tell me again who Wenwu is?
Yeah, real quick. By the way, I am 1115. We are not bots.
What does that mean?
Hi.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway. So, Wenwu was Shang-Chi's father.
Yes,
he is 1,000 years old, and he's basically immortal thanks to the 10 rings.
Aha. Okay. That is powerful.
Yeah,
wow.
He went to Talo, and he met Shang-Chi's mother. I forget her name, but she ended up dying, and Shang-Chi tried to help, but he got scared and ran away. So Wenwu tried to revive his wife, but that didn't really work out. So he realized what was going on. He sacrificed himself to help Shang-Chi and gave him the 10 rings.
Got it. Okay.
And my God, the CGI was on point for every fight scene in Shang-Chi.
Yes.
They had to render 2 people riding a massive dragon, and they did it excellently.
That was lovely.
All the fight scenes with the rings, amazing.
And what they did with the rings, when they were thrown and then they would come back, like a boomerang. Color. Yeah, it was awesome. Awesome. And by the way, every single episode in season 2, just advanced. I don't know what they do. I don't understand it. But, it's top of the line technology. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
All right. Let's more Q&A. So we have Eric. Eric says Ned has some magical connection in his bloodline. Right. That's true. And he practiced with the sling ring from Strange. Perhaps we should have What If Ned became the Sorcerer Supreme?
Hey, that's actually not a bad idea.
I think that'd be a
people
cool
becoming
one.
Sorcerer Supremes, what if Madison became the Sorcerer Supreme?
Who's Madison?
Remember her from She-Hulk?
Was that Jessica's girlfriend, or she worked at the...
No, the one who was watching The Sopranos with Wong.
Oh, her.
Wong's bestie.
Yes, what was her line, her catchphrase? I forgot.
One wine, some not where you think it is.
Yeah, right. Right, the name, right, her name, right. Just the way she spells her name is the why, not where you think it is. Yeah, that was funny. That was she was a cool character.
Yeah, so
they need to bring her back.
If you're just joining us,
yes,
I'm going to go on NPR real quick. If you're just joining us, my guest is my father, and these 2 microphones. We're talking about What If and wrapping up the season.
Yes, we are. Thank you so much. In case you just joined us, and once again, thank you if you're on YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. Thank you for joining us. So we're in the middle of it now. So you ready to move on? Are there any more Q&A? Let's move on to episode 8. I think you're excited to talk about this one.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So, I'd just like to bring something up real quick.
Sure.
There's this scene where we meet the Hulk, where he's wearing the Iron Man Mark One mask and this green hoodie, and he looks like Doctor Doom. They knew what they were doing in that shot. The metal mask and the green hood in that cell, he really looked like Doctor Doom.
You thought that was intentional?
I
That
feel
people
like
would
that's
pick that up?
intentional.
So when he was in prison, right? He was in the
Yeah, when you got that
jail.
close-up shot.
Right, and you heard the voice, but you saw the mask.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I have to see that again.
Yeah. You should rewatch that shot because you'll see it.
Okay.
But it is the Hulk. It is Mark Ruffalo.
Yes.
We will get to that.
Okay. All right.
So
episode 8.
Just to bring up 1602 real quick.
Mm-hmm. Well, can we just give the title of the episode?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
What if the Avengers assembled in 1602?
Yes.
So just a little bit of backstory on the comics. I only read up to part 6, so I don't know everything. But for an adaptation, I feel that it's pretty similar. You know, we still have a lot of characters that we recognize, like Doctor Strange, Captain America, Steve Rogers happens to be the Forerunner in both versions. You know, we have normal characters that we recognize, like Strange, Spidey, Matt Murdock, Black Widow, Clea, Nick
this
Fury.
is a series written by Neil Gaiman.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Back in 2002.
We did have Nick Fury and Scarlet Witch, so a lot of these characters are taken from the comics.
Nice. Okay. Very cool.
And Doctor Doom, Count Otto Van Doom, is actually a part of the 1602 comics, which is why I thought when I saw that mask that it was Doctor Doom.
Aha. Okay. Right. Okay. I know we're so ready for Doctor Doom. I don't want to go too far off topic, but yeah, we're ready for Doctor Doom. I get it. All right. Yeah. So 1602. So it's an 8-part comic book series written by Neil Gaiman. And like you said, is this something that I know you haven't gone through the entire series, but do you recommend it so far?
Yeah.
For people to read? All right. Let's go check it out. If you have Marvel Unlimited, you can read it online, or I'm sure you could buy it off of Amazon. So, all right. Okay. Let's talk about it.
This time we actually get to see incursions. And What If really did for us what Multiverse of Madness didn't, in that it made sense of what incursions were. So the Forerunner is somebody out of their universe who doesn't belong in this one. So because they're in that universe, the universe is falling apart because these two worlds are not supposed to be colliding. They'll be pulled together and things will start to get sucked into the other universes. And then either one or both will be destroyed because of this event. So Captain Carter was brought in by this Wanda Merlin to try to stop the incursions. But I feel like she'd end up making the worse, considering she's from another world, which would mean 3 worlds are now intersecting if we follow the rules of incursions. But I don't know. So, Loki's performing Shakespeare like the absolute drama queen that he is.
Of course. Yeah.
So, Captain Carter grabs the skull from him and starts using it to beat people up. And Hela ends up getting sucked into one of the incursion portals along with a bunch of other Asgardians. Thor ends up taking the role of king, and he is absolutely enraged. So Captain Carter ends up becoming an outcast.
Great. This was a stat cast. This was like watching Avengers Endgame. I mean, listen to the voices, all right? Featuring the voices of the actors, featuring the voices of Haley Atwell, Samuel L. Jackson, Elizabeth Olsen, Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston,
my favorite,
Jon Favreau, Mick Wingard, the voice of Iron Man, Mark Ruffalo, Josh Keaton, was that Cap? Okay, Paul Rudd, Sebastian Stan, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Lake Bell voicing
Natasha.
Black Widow. Yes, Natasha. Wow, this was awesome. This was also a good episode, very, very good episode. I love the sword fights, the swashbuckling. It's like watching a Robin Hood or Robin Hood episode or the Adventures of Robin Hood. It was wonderful. It was very good. Well done. Once again, the visual effects were stellar.
Yeah. Oh, you want to hear something that I absolutely love?
Mm-hmm.
So you know how in Civil War, Hawkeye shot Ant-Man out of an arrow during the battle?
Yes.
Yeah, they kind of did that with the Yellow Jackets. Happy Hogan was like using them as blow darts.
True.
And then they were fired in, which is exactly what Darren Cross's plan was, to make an army of like invisible super soldiers.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good point.
Not super soldiers, but like invisible ant thingies.
Now, I just
shrink soldiers, I guess I could call them.
Yeah, wonderful. It was very cool. And Jon Favreau playing
Happy Hogan.
Hogan. Yes.
You know what's funny? I think it was
Captain Hogan, I guess.
I think it was Ant-Man. He was like, "Oh, it's that freak Hogan."
Yeah, right. Watch your blood pressure.
Yeah, that's a reference to the fact that his alter ego is named the Freak, which is a little derogatory.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, and I just want to say this. So it starts off with Hela is the queen.
They should have named him Shulk.
All right. So there's a storm on Asgard, right? And somehow, some way, Hela gets sucked up into the storm.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Carter. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. All right. Captain Carter tried to save her.
I'm not upset.
And she disappeared. She was unable to save the queen, which meant now king. And unfortunately, he orders his people to go after Captain Carter. All right. And so she's running for her life throughout this episode. And interesting thing that she was able to see the Watcher and have a conversation with him, which most people cannot do.
I think it's actually kind of funny that Captain Carter will just be like, I can hear you, right? Are you here to help me or are you here to narrate?
Right. And then the Watcher's like, really? You can hear me? Like, why doesn't he know that? Anyway. Okay.
I love how the Watcher's reaction and everything is, what the heck is this?
Yes.
Or what the heck?
Yeah. And can you tell us about the Forerunner? So the Forerunner apparently is someone who's fallen through time and is responsible for the collapse of the universe.
So basically, I'll get to that in a minute. But Captain Carter runs into Roger's hood, his merry men Bucky and Scott.
Yeah.
Awesome. And they end up fighting the Yellow Jackets. Peggy tells them all to run, and then she can catch up, but she gets captured, and she escapes and runs into Hulk, who helps her escape by singing the guards a lullaby and putting them to sleep.
Okay.
Dude just absolutely barreled through all the guards,
as the Hulk
knocked
does.
them all out,
yeah,
and then escaped. She also runs into Tony Stark, and by the way, I got this one from Screen Crush. If you look in the background, you can see Thor's hammer, and Thor actually gave his hammer to Loki in this universe, and Loki says, I lost it. So Tony Stark literally has the hammer with him.
So do you think Tony took the hammer from him, or did Loki lose it and Tony found it?
I'm sure Loki lost it, and maybe Tony found it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Very interesting. Oh, okay.
I'm sure maybe in this world he's worthy.
Uh-huh. Oh, see.
Now that I think about it, he couldn't have been a weapons manufacturer because there were no bombs to build, really.
Well, not at that time. Yeah, not back in 1602. Yeah. Interesting.
Maybe that's why he's worthy anyway.
Okay.
They all meet at Thor's palace, and their plan is to find the Forerunner and convince Thor, hey, we got this. But Thor, he's too angry to listen, and he starts unleashing lightning. But Wanda Merlin holds him back, and she's like, listen, I'm sorry, but this is our only win. She's trying to hold back the incursion because another one opens up and hold back Thor. She can't do it, so their time's running out. So Tony Stark runs in. He's got this box that'll find the Forerunner. By the way, stylistic choice. Steve Rogers is wearing his Infinity War beard for a reason, which I realized.
What's the reason?
Well, it's because Steve Rogers is the Forerunner.
Yes.
So we find out that Steve is actually the Forerunner.
Mm-hmm.
It's him from a different universe. So he ends up nicking the Time Stone, and it explodes and sends him to this universe.
Aha. Okay.
So he's like, I'm sorry, Peggy. I have to do this.
Yeah.
I have to do this for the 5 billionth time. And then he disappears back to his universe. And then Captain Carter manages to separate the two universes. And
And then Doctor Strange shows up again.
And then Strange Supreme walks right in. And dude says, hello, Peggy.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, good to see an old friend.
Right. And then the episode ends. All right. So Strange just keeps popping up at the very end. Okay, well, what is he up to? What is going on? Episode 9. Here we go. Final episode of the
Supreme
season.
Interview.
Yes.
My favorite episode of this. I can't lie with a straight face.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk this thing through
so let's
and say,
get into it.
what we were expecting and what we actually got.
So we see Strange Supreme, and he's like, "Hey, Peggy, guess what? I've been collecting all the universe killers." We saw like Peter from episode 2, the kid Peter. I think there was like a collector from episode 1. There was Thor Hulk. There's like Cowboy Loki. Killmonger, Thanos with all the stones.
Right.
I think Infinity Ultron was in there at some point. Yeah, Zombie Wanda.
Yeah.
Again.
Yes. All right. All right. Take it easy. Take a deep breath.
He's been collecting all those universe killers so they can keep the world safe. So he is recruiting Peggy to help him out, and he has found another universe killer in like the I think it was the South Dakota forest.
I'm not sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, the South Dakota Badlands. So he sends Peggy out there, and the Watcher's like, in this world, Hydra won, and there was nobody to stop them.
Okay. All right.
So Kahhori pops up.
Kahhori from episode 6.
And now, wait a minute. That makes me rethink the timeline, actually. I think it must have taken place in the 1930s, I guess? Because Hydra wasn't a thing back then, and it says that the Project Rebirth explosion took out everybody in the room, including Peggy and Steve.
Well, okay.
So Hydra won, but Kahhori doesn't look like she aged at all. Or did she? I don't know.
Well, okay. One of the problems that I had with this episode was I thought it was all over the place.
Both tonally and scenically, it was like it felt like we were shifting back and forth. Like we went from it's so sad and tragic to it's just cameo land now to it's sad and tragic again to what just happened to what is this plot. So
Strange showed up in 2 other episodes, right at the very end, and you're thinking, okay, well, what is he looking for? Why is he looking for these people to do?
Yeah, like maybe he's gathering some sort of team.
Yeah.
There's some big multiversal threat he needs to take out.
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess some reason I just thought it was this big war that was going to take place or a big battle, but it turned out to be a personal mission.
Yes.
For Strange.
All right, so
let
me get into that.
Yeah.
So Peggy tracks down Kahhori and then gets positively whooped by Kahhori. Literally, just Kahhori zooming back and forth, grabs the shield, hits Captain Carter, then catches it, and she's like, "Listen, I don't want to fight you," which might have been a good thing to open with instead of 1-2 combos. But she's like, "I don't want to fight you." Like Strange, he's not being good. He's trying to kidnap a bunch of heroes. I'm not evil, I promise. He's trying to kidnap heroes so he can restart the Forge and bring back his universe.
Yeah, and
Which,
again.
Like,
go ahead.
Oh, you go.
Well, no, I was going to say again. I was not a big fan of season 1. Okay, I'll just put that out there if I've never said that before. But I felt that this episode was just like the greatest hits of season 1. Like seeing these bad guys.
I feel like it was an amalgamation of both seasons. We have baddies from both seasons and good characters too. But
but I don't know why we needed that. I maybe I'm understanding a little bit better now that they're trying to connect Stephen Strange from season 1 to season 2, which, although I was not a fan of the season overall, I did enjoy the Doctor Strange episode. What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? I thought that was a beautiful episode. It was wonderful. The best of season 1. But I thought it was... You don't agree? It was the best? Okay, well...
The best was episode 7. What if Thor was an only child?
I don't remember that episode.
I love that one.
Okay, all right. Well,
basically, it's Loki... So basically, the Frost Giants and Odin made peace, and Loki was raised as a Frost Giant. And Thor is an only child, and he becomes a party child and throws a massive ranger on Earth, meets Jane Foster, all that. Then Captain Marvel swoops in to stop it, and Thor and Captain Marvel duke it out, And then Thor's like, Mother's coming to Earth! So he rearranges everything, gets everybody in line, cleans up Earth because they fought all around Earth, and then hosts a study group when Frigga comes in. And he's like, oh, Mother, great to see you.
It does
we
sound
were just
familiar.
studying on Asgard.
This was a comedy.
Yeah. I love that episode.
I get it now. If anyone's out there who remembers season 1, tell us what was your favorite episode from season 1. That was pretty cool. So I thought that story with Stephen Strange ended.
Yeah,
it's season 1.
I felt like once again with WandaVision,
yeah,
that whole story was neatly wrapped up in a little bow and placed under the tree for Christmas, and then some ingrate had to open it early and then swapped out the discs and gave us a different character entirely.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you get a video game for Christmas and then you end up swapping out the discs because you want to play it.
I get it. Yeah,
it's awful. I don't know what happened there. Like, it was a switcheroo with WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness, how she went from having her story arc finish to, oh, she's evil again. They did the same thing with Stephen Strange, but with even less indication. Like, I remember at the end that Wanda was messing around with the Darkhold or whatever, but like, that just felt so unnecessary, and I'm like, I'm sure she'll figure it out. And then she just went full evil, which surprised me. But here with Stephen Strange, there was zero indication. Now, if they had given us some sort of fair warning in the last season, like if Stephen Strange was like, I want my universe back. I can't let this happen. It was my fault. I have to bring it back. And the Watcher tried to stop him and he went off on his mission. Then it would have made more sense, because then it would have been like, oh, this has been his motive this whole time. But it was just like thrown at us. Basically, we have this massive fight where all the characters are here. 2 Thors fight each other, and then all the heroes and villains start throwing their weapons to Peggy and Kahhori. Peggy gets powered up with the Infinity Stones, and then they fight Stephen Strange, start trading blows, and then he just literally becomes a massive demon or something.
What I recall, what I got out of this episode is that Strange has not gotten over the fact that Christine is gone. That Christine was his, very close friend. Were they married? I don't remember if they were married.
No, they were not married.
Oh, she got married, or she was going to marry somebody else.
Well, that was a Multiverse of Madness.
That was okay.
Yeah,
they were very close.
This is 2016 Strange,
right? But the point is, in season 1, that episode about it, losing his heart, he kept trying to keep Christine alive. Every time. He just could not understand or admit that what her fate had to happen, right? Or needed to happen. And he would not allow it. So he would just go back in time, rewind the clock, and put her in a different situation so that she wouldn't lose her life. And then she ends up dying anyway. And then he would go back and try it again. And he kept trying and trying and trying and could not succeed. And so he brought that into this episode 9, right? Yeah. So it had nothing to do with Peggy.
Here's my question, though.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with Kahhori. It was all about him.
Why did he not just find a universe where Christine's alive and he isn't around and then go there?
How about that?
Like, Wanda was willing to kill a child to get her kids back who were never real in the first place.
Right.
Well, she could have just worked with America to find a universe.
Yeah.
Where she's not there, but her kids and Vision are.
Yeah. Yeah, it was it threw me for a loop. But maybe I need to watch it again. Let me know. We're going to go to Q&A. If you've seen episode 9, tell me what you thought of it. Are we on point about it, or are we off the mark? It
really felt like a rehash.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was all over the place. So, all right, let's see what we have. What are people saying? So we have Alex.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of episode 9. I liked the action, but I found the plot of Strange trying to restore his universe to be a bit rushed. Should have been more fleshed out. Agreed about total shifts.
There you go. Okay, yeah.
Like, we went from, oh, yay, we got all our favorite characters from the last few seasons back, some new cameos, and then it's like, oh, but now we're supposed to feel bad for Strange, and now it's a massive CGI fight. And then it's like, now I feel bad for Strange. And then I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, so Eric says, Christine has some romance with Strange. The watch was a gift from a date before 2016.
I see.
Yeah, got it. Okay. All right. Yeah. So it, and I'm not saying season 2 was a bust. It was absolutely not a bust.
No, but
But
the last episode, it's like opening a 2 liter, not screwing the cap on tight enough, and then coming to it in the morning and it barely has any bubbles.
ooh,
It
wow,
wasn't
very
unpleasant.
interesting.
It
Okay.
wasn't unpleasant.
Yeah.
It just wasn't preferred per se.
Understood. I think that's a perfect way to describe this episode. I think the two of us agree that it wasn't what we expected a finale to be. Alex says, "Great points, Keith. It definitely was a regression for Wanda in the multiverse of madness and Supreme Strange. What if season 2?" Yeah, right. And then the multiverse of madness, not not one of my favorite Marvel films. I don't know how you feel about it. Up and down, maybe. I don't know. So Eric says Doctor Strange 2 is a top 10 MCU film. If you ask me. Well, he says top 10. Is it possible that this movie could be in your top 10?
No.
No, not. Are you sure? Because there are a lot of. We have Eric. By the way, we have not ever ranked our MCU
Eric,
films, so we don't know.
I don't want to ruin it for you.
Well, Keith. Well,
so I'm gonna go easy.
You haven't ranked them, so you don't know if it actually falls in your top 10 or not.
We should go on tierlist.com and then make a video of us ranking all of the Marvel movies.
In order for me to do that, I got to rewatch some of the films because I don't remember.
I remember all of them.
You remember all of them?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. I need to go back and refresh my memory because, in order to be fair, I need to see the movies again. Some I remember more than others.
I can debrief you.
No, I want to debrief it. I want to watch the movies.
I remember every movie except The Incredible Hulk because I never saw that one.
Would that count as an MCU film? I guess it does, right?
Well, yeah.
The one with Edward Norton.
I mean, they do like to do that recasting thing a lot.
Okay.
I mean, they did it with Mark
I'm just
Ruffalo.
asking, does that count as an MCU film?
Yes, it does.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's a very good point. We're not going to knock Eric because, Multiverse of Madness is in the top 10. I'll tell you what's in my top 10. You're not, never mind, because we'll be here for 2 hours.
Oh, God. Oh, God, Dad.
We'll be here for 2 hours. If I bring up that name of that film, we're not going to do that. All right. So
don't invoke that name.
I won't. I'm done.
As Nick Fury put it.
Okay. So that is it. That is What If Season 2, right? Is there anything? Oh, I didn't want to mention. So, back to the character of Kahhori, I wanted to mention the name of the actor. Her name is Devery Jacobs. I think that's pronounced that way, Devery Jacobs. Apparently, well, not apparently, because it's true. I just haven't watched the series. So she's on a series called Reservation Dogs. I don't know if anyone has watched it and know Devery Jacobs, and maybe you could tell us about Reservation Dogs if it's a pretty good series, that's something you recommend. But she is in that series, and I hear she's really good. I think she's up for an Emmy nomination. But I would love to see this character, Kahhori, in live action. What do you think?
Oh, well, we might not see Kahhori again, but we're definitely going to see Devery Jacobs again.
Okay. Tell me.
Because she plays Echo's sister, I think.
Now, that's very interesting. So, wait a minute. Okay. So, she's not playing Kahhori, but she will be in the MCU playing another character.
They did it with Haley Steinfeld and Nick Cage.
Okay.
They also did it with
Well, okay.
John Mulaney's not in the MCU.
Okay, so there's no way if she's Echo's sister that she's Kahhori. That wouldn't make any sense.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't think. You know what? You're right, because this
they did it with Stephen Strange.
Yeah, unless she is immortalized, that was 400 years ago, so she can't be the same character. Well, it's good to know that she's in the MCU. Wow, yeah, that makes me more excited for Echo.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say they did it with Haley Steinfeld and Nick Cage.
No, you're right. You're right.
They were Spider-Woman and Ghost Rider, respectively.
You're right. There were two different characters.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, like what am I saying?
No, I get it. Haley Steinfeld,
Kate Bishop, and Ghost Rider, respectively.
Yes, I know.
I can't speak.
Gwen Stacy, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I get it.
I'm sorry. I can't speak.
It's all right. It's New Year's Eve, man. I know you're ready to party.
Oh yeah.
Eric says, "Don't worry." Let me just read Eric's comment. Don't worry, Keith. I'm used to disappointing people with my movie opinions. For instance, I enjoy Wonder Woman 84. Funny enough, I actually enjoyed Wonder Woman 84.
Me too.
All right. I can hear all the screens getting shut off right now. Yeah.
I can hear all the people around the world throwing their TV screens right now.
Yes, I hear the yelling outside my home, going, no.
Yeah, I can see some picket signs booing us right now.
I enjoyed,
that looks like a Rotten Tomato fly out our window.
That came out of nowhere.
I'm a really good lawyer. I got it.
Yeah, I got that one. I was really floored by the reaction to Wonder Woman 84. I don't know what happened, but woof. Alex says Bruno is to Encanto as, Alex, I told you, we're not going to bring up that title. All right, Bruno is to Encanto as No Way Home is to
You know what about No Way Home? Peter Parker as a character was completely butchered.
As for Reservation Dogs, I saw the first episode and it was great. Need to watch more. I think I have to put that on my list of shows to watch for next year. Thank you, Alex, for that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Gemma Chan plays two characters.
Good point, yeah. Who said that? Let's give credit to
Eric.
that.
Yeah.
Eric said Gemma Chan, right?
Yeah, because she played Minerva and Cersei.
There you go. All right. Okay.
The only difference is Minerva is in blue makeup, so she's technically a blue alien.
Minerva is whose character? What character?
Captain Marvel.
I don't...
She was from Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, that's right. She was one of the Krees?
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. I remember that now. Yeah, very good. All right. Any more Q&A? All right. So we're going to, we're waiting for any more Q&As. If there's anything else you want to talk about, anything about the year end, talk about what you're going to be doing for the next few hours, what you're looking forward to for 2024. But in the meantime, what we do on our last episode of every year, we thank a lot of people. All right. By the way. Yeah, go ahead. You going to say something?
I just had something on my mind related to Marvel.
Okay.
Lego Marvel superheroes, everybody.
Yeah.
That game, back in that time, like 2012, Ultimate Spider-Man was out. I find it almost bizarre that they have Ultimate Doc Ock, first of all, Green Goblin and Ultimate Green Goblin are two separate characters for whatever reason, but they have like the ultimate versions of a bunch of characters. They have Wizard, they have Iron Fist, Power Man, Nova, and Spider-Man, but they don't have White Tiger. They don't have Ava Ayala in the game. She doesn't come in until Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, 4 years later.
Okay. And you have to tell me who White Tiger is?
Just said.
Okay.
Ava Ayala.
I don't know.
That's all I know. Okay.
Okay.
I saw Ultimate Spider-Man like a long time ago. I love that show, but I don't remember.
So apparently she's a Spider-Man villain. White Tiger.
She's a good guy.
White Tiger.
Yeah, she teamed up with Iron Fist, Power Man, Nova, and Spidey.
I have never heard of that
with
character.
Nick Fury.
Okay.
I remember. And if you ever pull that stunt again,
I remember that.
That's where that's from.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
This goes on for another 5 minutes.
All right. Yeah. Sounds familiar. Okay. All right. Before we give our thank yous, there's one thing I wanted to say.
There's more.
Yeah. We dropped quite a bunch of content in the last 2 weeks, right? So we just want to make sure that, it's out there. Very good interviews that we did. I'm not saying that because we did the interviews.
I'm saying it because we have good people.
Well, yeah, we interview some very, very good people, very important people. So Lamont McGee, writer, producer, Lamont McGee's interview is there available. Daniel Sanchez is a writer. He's a Superman cosplayer. We had him on the podcast to discuss the 45th anniversary of Superman the movie, and much more than that. I mean, this man is wonderful. He puts on the suit, but he does it for a cause. He does it for a very good reason. So we really want to give him a shout out. Thank you, Daniel, for being on our podcast. Nick Milkey is also out there. It is, if you don't know Nick, he is a part of the SSW network.
He's a goat.
Force Connect. He is the GOAT. He's one of the GOATs, the greatest of all time. Check out his episode. Alex
Date. Everybody we interviewed this year is a GOAT.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everyone, and
we have a roster full of goats,
and we're
guys.
And we're going to read off these names because
Screaming Goat, Happy Goat, Yelling Goat, Screaming Goat again.
Alex Damon from Star Wars Explained. We talked about wrapping up Star Wars 2023 and what we can expect in 24. That's fun. That's out there. Check that out. We ranked our top 10 favorite stories from 40 years of Star Wars Return to Jedi, a certain point of view. Check that out, our top 10. That was really fun to do. Okay. So once again, this is our last episode of the year, and this is the time where we would thank the people that have, impacted us this year, who's been on our podcast, who have been on the panel stages with us, who have helped us on our live stages and our live streams. So here we go. Let's start with thanking our patrons. Broaxium, John H., Mary B., thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We just thank you for your support. You guys are wonderful. We can't do this without you, so thank you so much. The cast and crew of The Bad Batch.
Yep.
D. Bradley Baker, Michelle Ang, Jennifer Corbett, Brad Rao, Baraxium. Speaking of Baraxium, Raven Spencer. We had Disney Imagineer Bob Gurr, D23 Director Jeffrey Epstein,
Larry Dubinsky, President and CEO of the staff of the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia, Mark Valentine of Chip & Company, Alex and Molly of Star Wars Explained, content creator Okairo, Dave Filoni and John Favreau, Rick Famuyiwa, Katie Sackhoff, Raphael Moran, the Geeky Dad and the Multiverse Kid,
yes,
Ashley Eckstein, Clayton Sandell, Halima Lucas, Chris Ryans, Eli and Jacob of Star Wars in a Galaxy, Kyra Navarrete, Todd and Trent from Big T and Little T, the cast of Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures, Jamal Avery Jr., Juliette Donenfeld, Emma Berman, and Trey Diaz-Murphy.
All right. And Chuck and Shauna Lindsay, a Chuck full of comics. Chuck and Lindsay are fantastic. They are the audio and video creators and producers of our podcast when we're live at conventions. We went to 3 this year, right? Philly, Boston, Chicago, and they were there for all of us, for all 3 of those conventions. So that was wonderful. Thank you, Chuck and Shauna. James Waugh, Jackie Lopez, Josh Rhines, Michael Olsen, Lamont McGee. All right. Jonathan Edwards. This is our Star Wars in our community. Jonathan Edwards, Christopher Dickinson, Jared Skids. The Dad Batch. All right. We did a Father's Day special with the Dad Batch. Just Joe. They brought in their sons, Joe and Austin, Ramey and Bray, Stephen and Oliver. Thank you so much. Zoe and Mike Hinton. Thank you. Ken Quattro and Dr. Stanford Carpenter. We met them at the Chicago Fan Expo. We're actually going to bring them back next year. So if you missed the episode where we interviewed them live on,
watch it on YouTube, watch our sequel.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about Ken because we're hoping to bring Ken and Dr. Carpenter back for next year. Darrell Pulley, Rob Levy, AJ, Jamie, and Matt, the Holonet Marauders. Thank you. Alice Faye Duncan, Daniel Sanchez, Nick Milkey, my childhood friends, Chris and Craig. We brought them on because 40 years ago, we went to see Return of the Jedi in Manhattan. Young teenagers. I never forgot that movie-going experience. They came back and we talked about it. So thank you so much for that. Alex and Charlie.
Alex, our council members.
The council. All right. The Jedi Council, Alex and Charlie. Alex, you are always on our live streams and you're actively participating. We love it. Please continue. Thank you so much for all you've done, not just this year, but from the very beginning. Just meeting you and just talking to you and just sharing comments with you and being on the live streams. We really appreciate that. It's beyond words what you do. Charlie, once again, Charlie is always in our corner. Checking out our videos and giving us a thumbs up and leaving us comments as well. Thank you. Thank you to all of our listeners and viewers, who watch the live stream, watch us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, who follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all the socials. If you listen to us on the audio platforms, we love you. Thank you so much for listening to us. Special thank you to Maceo, little guy Maceo, who is still a part of the live streams. The live streams and the book reading. The story time with Maceo. Thank you so much, Maceo. And to our last but not least, our super producer. All right, there is no podcast without this lady, my wife, my beautiful wife, Tanya.
My mom.
Yes, all right, Tanya Manning. All right, thank you so much. Thank you. So. that is it, everyone. So we're so blessed that we had this many number of people, you know, touch our lives this year, and we're looking forward so much to 2024. We hope that you will stay with us. We're every year I expect every year to be bigger than the year before, so I can't wait to see what happens in 2024. We will be back on Wednesday. We're going to talk about the slate of what's coming up or what we expect to see in 2024 regarding Marvel, Disney, and Star Wars. Can't wait to talk to you about that.
And
yes,
maybe I'll have a tier list ready.
A tier list ready of the MCU films? You mean
yes.
Okay, yay. Hey,
and to sweeten the pot,
oh boy,
I will add in all the shows except for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That doesn't count. I never saw that.
You're going to rank the TV series as well, is what you're saying? With the movies, or do a separate
with the movies
poll? Wow. Okay.
Well, we might do both.
Is okay. All right, let's talk about it. This is big.
I will say, does Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. count as the MCU?
Yeah,
I never
it does.
watched it. And is Inhumans? Does that count too?
I don't know. I haven't heard good things about Inhumans. I can't tell you.
I'm gonna have to leave those out because I haven't seen them, and I don't think anybody else has.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not fair if you haven't seen it to put them in the category, so maybe not. Eric says one day I'll have you on my show, Kerwin. Eric, thank you so much.
Hey, what about me?
Yeah, we don't want to leave out Keith. Thank you. Alex,
I'm here too, guys.
Yeah, Alex says, too kind. Thank you both. Not sure if I'm worthy of the Jedi title, as I just have random knowledge, but I really appreciate your kindness. Happy New Year to you and yours. Absolutely, Alex. Words cannot express how important you are to our podcast. Yeah. We love this. This is what we do because we love what we do. We love talking to you. We want to create, and I think we have created a safe space for anybody to say anything they want, child friendly, of course. But this is why we're here, and we're looking forward to seeing you again next year. All right. So happy New Year, everyone. If there are no final comments, I think that is it. You can find us anywhere you like on any of the live streams, and we're going to raise a glass. We're going to have a toast. All right. To 2024. Raise your glass, Keith, before you start drinking. Can I make the toast? All right.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. There's a delay there. All right. Thank you, everyone.
I'm Leonardo DiCaprio now, aren't I?
Happy New Year to you. Enjoy, with your loved ones. We'll see you again in 2024. Until then, take care, and we will see you again.
It's water, by the way. Cheers.